American Horror Story is definitely one of the best shows on TV. With its mix of comedy, gore, and sex, it's literally the perfect show. Like many of you, I've watched every season a billion times and thought it would be fun to do a video on it. So here is 50 facts you didn't know about American Horror Story. 1. Hotel Cortez is based off of a real hotel in Chicago. It was built by H.H. Holmes in the late 1800s, and he had built the hotel with the purpose of murdering his guests and stashing their bodies in the hotel's many trapdoors and hidden passages. It's said that he murdered up to 200 people. The hotel later became known as the Murder Castle. 2. The Chicken Coop murders were real. The Chicken Coop murders were a series of abductions and murders of young boys that occurred in Los Angeles between 1926 and 1928. In a flashback, it was revealed that Miss Evers' young son was one of the victims. 3. Sarah Paulson, Lily Rabe, and Evan Peters are the only stars to appear in every season of American Horror Story. 4. The Murder House is also the Alpha Data frat house from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This house has been shown in a lot of different movies and TV shows, and it's actually a 6-bedroom, 5-bathroom house in LA, and it's worth $7.8 million. 5. Evan Peters had to cover himself in lubricant to get himself into his Rubberman costume. 6. Kyle Cooper, the man who created the show's unsettling opening credits, also created The Walking Dead's opening credits. 7. Edward Mordrake was a fictional character long before Freakshow. The tragic tale of Edward Mordrake was written in 1895, and it was said that Mordrake had an extra face on the back of his head, one that couldn't eat or drink, but it was seen to smile and laugh while Mordrake was crying. 8. Real-life clowns are not a fan of Twisty. Professional clowns who make their living from their appearances thought the Freakshow murder clown contributed to clown fear and were 100% not down with him. 9. The murdered cheerleader played Evan Peters' girlfriend on One Tree Hill. Throughout Murder House, Tate is constantly confronted by the ghosts of several students he murdered, including a brunette cheerleader played by Ashley Rickards. On One Tree Hill, Peters and Rickards dated. 10. Evan Peters flashed his co-stars during a shower scene. While getting hosed down during a scene in Asylum, Peters accidentally flashed Sarah Paulson and Jessica Lange. 11. Zachary Quinto loved to play the banjo on set. While on the set of Asylum, Quinto would perform for the cast and crew between takes. "I play my banjo on set a lot because it sort of lightens up the mood," he said. 12. Every scene with Betty and Dot took nearly 15 hours to shoot. Paulson's scenes as Betty and Dot took a combination of visual effects and puppeteering to achieve the appearance of two heads. 13. Ryan Murphy revealed that every season of American Horror Story is connected in some way. Lily Rabe's return as Sister Mary Eunice in Freakshow was the first real clue, followed by the return of the Murder House and Dr. Charles Montgomery in Hotel. While nothing has been officially connected to Coven, the fact that Madison Montgomery, Emma Roberts, shares the same last name as the Murder House's original owner has not gone unnoticed to fans. 14. Neil Patrick Harris and David Bertka were meant to play the gay couple in Murder House. The pair turned down the role because they'd already played a couple who hated each other in A Very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. David feared that people would think he and Harris were a troubled couple. 15. Ryan Murphy and Jessica Lange became such close friends during season 1 that Murphy has consulted with the actress when writing for other characters. For example, Lange wanted to play a big drunk scene and sing in season 2, therefore Sister Jude did those things, and she also wanted to play an elegant woman wearing Chanel in season 3, therefore Fiona dressed impeccably. 16. Emma Roberts and Evan Peters were more than just co-stars, they're dating in real life. They began dating in 2012 and got engaged in 2014, though they've had a rocky relationship, with Emma even being arrested for giving him a bloody nose and scratches. In September 2015, it was confirmed that they were dating again. 17. The first season used a few different tracks from famous horror movies, most notably the songs from Bram Stoker's Dracula, What Lies Beneath, Psycho, and Insidious. 18. You can actually stay at Miss Robichaux's Academy in Louisiana and create your own coven for $5,000 a night. 19. The school shooting victims on Murder House, Boggs, Greenwell, Stanley, Stapleton, and Gedman, are all named after former Boston Red Sox players. 20. Delphine Lalaurie and Marie Laveau were real people. There's no evidence that they ever met, but they did both exist in New Orleans around the same time. Marie Laveau was a famous voodoo practitioner, and Delphine Lalaurie was a wealthy plantation owner who became somewhat more dubiously famous for brutally torturing and murdering many of her slaves. 21. Evan Peters plays Jimmy Darling in Freakshow. His character is based on the real-life lobster boy, Grady Stiles. 22. The American Morbidity Museum is based on a real place. I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but the Motea Museum in Philadelphia, which has existed for many decades, is one of the only museums in the world that displays the skeletons, organs, and other physical remains of people throughout history with unusual bodies. 23. Evan Peters got into acting so he could meet the Olsen twins. Back when he was 15, all Evan wanted to do was meet Mary-Kate and Ashley. It's safe to say that he's achieved a little more than that now. 24. In the past, Briarcliff Manor was actually a courthouse, but now stands as a museum. It's located in Orange County, California, and admission to tour the building is free. 25. It takes almost 3 hours for actress Naomi Grossman to get into her pepper makeup. She also had to shave her head for the role. 26. The scariest thing about Roanoke's killer nurses is that they're based on actual people. Their real-life counterparts, Gwendolyn Graham and Kathy Wood, were convicted for the murder of 5 elderly patients at the Alpine Manor nursing home back in the 1980s. While some of the details were changed, these killers used their victims' initials to spell out murder, just like the spirits trapped in the Roanoke house. 27. James Cromwell's son, John, played the young version of him in a flashback scene for Asylum. 28. Alma and Kit Walker were inspired by a real couple, Betty and Barney Hill, an interracial couple who claimed they were abducted by aliens in the 60s. They provided one of the first wildly publicized abduction stories, which spawned a book and a movie. 29. While in character as Spaulding, Dennis O'Hare refused to speak. On set, he remained in character as the butler without a tongue, which stopped him from speaking to anyone. 30. Connie Britton wanted to appear in Coven. The Murder House star was totally down for making an appearance as a witch on Coven, but it looked like her commitments to popular program Nashville prevented that from ever happening. 31. Madison Montgomery had a sex scene with Spaulding. The scene had Madison confront Spaulding about him keeping her as a doll. The conversation ended up with them sleeping together in a room full of creepy dolls. The scene was filmed but cut from the 7th episode of Coven. 32. The Supreme was given away in the opening credits. Sarah Paulson's name card in the opening credits featured an image of Santa Muerte, who is known as the Lady of the Seven Powers. The Supreme must be able to perform the 7 wonders. So basically, the answer to the next Supreme was sneakily in front of everyone all along, and the internet quickly caught on to it. Users on Reddit and Tumblr predicted the Supreme well in advance. 33. The Axeman of New Orleans was a real serial killer who attacked his victims with an axe. The letter Danny Huston's character types during The Axeman Cometh is the same letter the real Axeman wrote back in 1919, asking people to play jazz or get the axe. 34. There's a long-running rumor that Stevie Nicks is a witch. Her appearance on Coven was a nod to the persistent witch rumor. 35. In real life, Ben Wolf, the man who plays Meep, is a preschool teacher. Unfortunately, he died last year when he was struck in the head by the car mirror of an SUV while he was crossing the street in Hollywood. Rest in peace, Ben. You're greatly missed. 36. Ben Wolf also played Thaddeus Montgomery, aka Infantata, in Murder House, the deceased son of Charles and Nora Montgomery. 37. Almost all of the performers are inspired by real, quote-unquote, freaks. Freakshow draws inspiration from past performers including Grady Stiles, Lobster Boy, Annie Jones, the Bearded Lady, and Schlitzie, the Pinhead. Even Twisty is similar to John Wayne Gacy, the infamous killer clown. 38. Erica Irvin originally auditioned for the part of Amazon Eve as a man. Transgender actress Erica slicked back her hair and bound her breast for the Amazon Eve audition. Unsurprisingly, she nailed it. 39. Kathy Bates talks in her Baltimore accent even when she's off set. Because the accent is so difficult, Kathy continues to use it off set so she won't lose it. 40. The word Croatoan has appeared previously on the show way back in season 1 when Billy Dean Howard recounted the story of the Roanoke people. 41. Jyoti Amge is considered a deity in her home country. In Amge's home country of India, where the majority of the population is Hindu, she's widely regarded as a living incarnation of a goddess due to her unorthodox stature. 42. As you guys know, Naomi Grossman looks way different with her pepper makeup on. So much so, in fact, that she was once thrown off the set by confused security officers who didn't recognize her. 43. Briarcliff was inspired by an actual institution. The Willowbrook State School in New York was the subject of a series of media exposés during the 60s and 70s, which gradually revealed its deplorable living conditions and heinous disciplinary regimens to a shocked public. The school was eventually closed down in 1987, almost 20 years after it was first publicly condemned. 44. While everyone was busy trying to decipher which teaser contained the genuine theme for Season 6, TMZ leaked set pictures of a tree that had the word Croatoan carved into its side, revealing the Roanoke theme months earlier than planned. 45. Modern Family's Eric Stonestreet memorably made a one-off appearance on Murder House as the hapless victim of a masked killer. Stonestreet was slated to reappear on Asylum, but for some reason, his part in Season 2 was removed prior to filming, and no explanation was ever given. 46. Emma Roberts was going to be in Spring Breakers in 2012, but the actress ultimately didn't take the part because she wasn't comfortable with a threesome scene that she would have had to do. Although ironically, her character ended up having a threesome in Coven. 47. Chris Zilka passed up a role on American Horror Story because he didn't want to shave his head. He was briefly signed on to appear on Asylum, but he changed his mind after learning that he would have to cut his hair off and go bald for the season. 48. Amongst all of the Mr. X Murphy threw our way before the theme of Season 6 was finally revealed, one thing that remained constant was his use of the number 6 in the marketing campaign. 6 weeks, 6 days, and 6 hours before Roanoke premiered, American Horror Story's marketing team released 6 promos. 49. While fans may have been disappointed to learn that Roanoke would only last for 10 episodes instead of the usual 12 or 13, it turns out that Murphy made the decision so that he could produce 2 seasons per year, one of which could develop into the highly anticipated Murder House/Coven crossover. 50. Angela Bassett played Cuba Gooding Jr.'s sister in Roanoke, and 25 years earlier, she played his mother in Boys in the Hood. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, subscribe or leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time.